What's up, YouTube? That sounds better. Welcome to Wawa Echo. I'm Parker, and I'm here once again for the Raw Rundown, where I take a look at this week's Raw, and I give the parts that I enjoyed an up, and I give the parts that I did not enjoy a down. This week is March 5th of 2018. I am still sick. I'm still dealing with that. So right now, I think I sound like normal. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm going to try and go quick so it doesn't turn into what it was, because that really was terrible, and I can already feel it starting. So let's go. The show, that is what we have watched. The show, it started off with the way that the show the previous week ended for some reason, and of course it had Authority members. So Kurt Angle comes out, and I don't think I talked about this in the um, last week's video, but after it all went down, Triple H sucker punched Kurt Angle. I didn't think it was that big. I thought it was kind of. Anyway, so Kurt Angle comes out and he's super mad because Triple H did um, hit him when he wasn't paying attention, or it was a pretty douche move. So Angle comes out and he's like, "I told you if you touch me again, I'd beat your butt. So get out here so I can do that." Obviously, Triple H doesn't want his butt beat, so he did not come out. Steph came out instead and said that Triple H wasn't here. Turns out he was a little bit later on, but whatever. And so Ronda Rousey comes out as well, and they're here to discuss Ronda Rousey's WrestleMania match, who her opponent is. And so Ronda, surprisingly, so shocking, picked Stephanie McMahon. Oh my God. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Shocked. Whoa. That was sarcasm, just so you know, if you didn't know. And so Ronda obviously challenged Stephanie for a match at WrestleMania. Triple H comes out and is like, "No, Stephanie can't do that because she's an executive. She's got an executive contract and all this stuff." And Kurt Angle's like, "Yeah, but she also has a second contract, which is a superstar contract, where she is eligible to be in a match." Which is weird to me. I think that the last time that Stephanie wrestled was like SummerSlam before, like, I want to say like WrestleMania 30. It was like a long time ago. It's like at least 3 or 4 years that the last time she wrestled. So I'm surprised that that contract's still intact. You would think that Steph would be like, "Hey, I don't feel like wrestling anymore, so I'm just going to cancel that contract, whatever." But apparently she didn't have that forethought. So she is stuck in that situation, and Kurt decides to put his own business in with Ronda's, and he's like, "You know what? It's not going to be just a one-on-one match. It's going to be a mixed gender tag match, because me and Trip H is going to be in there." I don't know why I called him Trip H. It's Triple H. That was weird. It felt right in my mind, but when I said it, I realized it wasn't right. It was actually really weird and bad, and I regret being born, actually. Yeah, let's just scoot past that. And so the match was made. And, it was obvious, like I said last week, that we know where it was going, and it wasn't, like I said. After the match was made, the faces attacked the heels and got the upper hand. And la di da. Who cares? I didn't enjoy it, as you can probably tell. I'm giving it a down. I just not a fan of the match. I'm not a fan. I'd prefer if Ronda was just put in a regular match with somebody. I don't know who, because they went with the whole no champion route. I would have honestly preferred if she'd have been in the Royal Rumble and won, like everyone thought she would, and I'd rather that happen than this route by putting her in with these guys. I just don't think it's a smart idea. After that, we had a rematch from Elimination Chamber the week before between Asuka and Nia Jax. This is interesting. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon because I've made it apparent since Asuka came to Monday Night Raw. I'm not the hugest Asuka fan. There are occasions when I like her when she like kills somebody really quickly. I think that's the best way to book her. It's not how they usually book her though. So most of the time she gets down. And then there's Nia Jax, who I've been very adamant about my dislike for in the past. If you'll remember, I don't know what week it was, but there was the infamous time when I added a huge bunch of extra downs right here. Was just for Nia, and I think it was for her and Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox still deserves those. But Nia, my opinion has changed, and it's very interesting indeed. Um, they had this match, and it was good. Still wasn't great. The my interest was peaked though at the end. Um, Asuka put Nia in the armbar, and Nia was trying everything she could to get out of it. She picked her up and was throwing her into the ropes and into the canvas and into the turnbuckles and all this stuff. And Asuka would not let go, and eventually Nia was brought down and was forced to tap. It was interesting because, well, for one thing, I think that should count as a rope break if she literally bounced her onto the ropes. Kind of sounds like a rope break to me. Like, I don't know why she didn't just grab onto the rope while she was doing that. I think that would work, but whatever. Um, but it's interesting because it showed a lot. It showed good on Asuka, for being tough enough to handle the onslaught. I don't think many people would, and so that looked good on her. And it also was interesting with Nia because it's obvious after tonight that the intention seems to be to turn her baby face and face Alexa at WrestleMania. Um, Very interesting decision. Not one I would have made. I think Nia obviously works better as a heel, um, because her whole thing is the whole irresistible force, still the crappiest nickname ever. And the fact that she's super dominant and stuff like that. And it's very, very difficult to have that for a baby face. Really, Braun Strowman is it, Undertaker, Undertaker, Braun, like those beloved people. And the thing is with those people is they started out as heel and they just became eventually so loved that they had to turn them face. The difference with Nia is that she is not super loved, or was not super loved before this, I should say, to where they were forced to turn her face. They made this decision on their own. Now, I will say that after this and a segment I'm going to get to right after, I will say that I think that it could work. And I think the way, like, if they go with it, I think it's a little weird that they're doing this, but it kind of makes sense with their all be a star thing. Um, so I can kind of see it. But it is interesting. I would have kept her heel just because she's not like loved like Undertaker used to be, which they had to turn him face. Uh, like with The Rock, with Stone Cold, like they were heels, and then but people loved him so much they had to turn him face. With Braun Strowman's the latest kind of example of that. They wanted him to be heel. They did everything they could to keep him heel, but everyone just loved him so much they had to turn him face, and that's not the case with Nia. So I do think that they might should have not done this because I don't know where they'll go after the whole Alexa storyline is over with. But for now, it is interesting. Um, After Nia lost the match, she went to the back, and it showed her with Alexa. And um, Alexa was really good here. She was kind of the stereotypical girl that's uh, like when you're in the moment. If you're like that person, you think it's like compliments, but if you're a outside person looking in, you're like, dude, that person's insulting the crap out of them, and they just don't know it. It's kind of like that. And she kept on so much that Nia actually started to cry, like openly weep, which is very surprising decision because, for one thing, she's been supposed to be this powerhouse, dominant person, uh, irresistible force, and then also that's not normally something they do. with having someone cry like a super. They're supposed to be superstars, They're supposed to be bigger than life. So it was an interesting decision to do this, but it actually didn't, make me feel bad for Nia, and I guess that's the whole point of the thing. So in that whole case, I know it's kind of a long-winded thing for a segment, but so with the match with Asuka and then the backstage segment, I'm giving it up. It's unprecedented, actually. It's pretty crazy. Next up, we had a match between the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, versus the Revival. And the stipulation for this match was if the Revival won, they would be able to go to WrestleMania to compete for the titles. And so they lost. What? Down. That's stupid. This is ridiculous. Why? What is with this crap booking with the Revival? Like 1 week, they job them out. Next week, they're beating lots of people, then jobbing, then beating, then jobbing. Like, make up your daggone mind. Like, do you want them to be, uh, like, main stars in your tag division, or do you want them to job to everybody? You got to make up your mind. You got to figure this out, and you got to figure out what the heck's going on with the tag team titles for WrestleMania. Because I have no idea. Like, I have no idea right now. And the Bar did have a promo afterwards where they're like, "We beat everybody, and so there is no one left." And but it's true, which in one way is cool because they're super dominant and awesome. But the other thing is you've ruined all the other teams to where there's literally not one legitimate team that I could say, "Hey, if they win against them, I think they might be able to hold their own." And that's just not good at all. I think that's just a big mistake. And so it really doesn't matter at all anything about the match. The outcome and the decision making is just getting it down. It's just really dumb to me. So next up, we have John Cena come out. What's John Cena doing here? I thought he went to SmackDown and he's in the main event of the SmackDown pay-per-view next week. Why is he here? It turns out John Cena is a baby who can't handle people interrupting him, so he decides he's going to come here so that none of his opponents can interrupt him. It's really dumb to me. And so he's hyping up this match, and he's like, "You don't realize that you actually want me to win because that way AJ can throw in his rematch clause right away for WrestleMania, and it'll be a triple threat match between me, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura." The funny thing is, John, we don't want you in the match. We don't like you. Go away. Retire. You're done. You don't have no road for you. The pavement's gone. It's all rubble. You'll hurt yourself walking over it. No. Go away, Cena. Down. You suck. And then Goldust came out. Why? Why did Goldust come out? And Goldust comes out. And at first he seemed face. And then he turned heel again. I don't make up your mind about Goldust. I don't understand. And then Cena and Goldust had a match that lasted like 2.5 minutes, probably. Which is apparently this was the first ever time that John Cena's ever faced Goldust ever in a singles match. Seems really surprising seeing how long both of them have been in the company, but whatever. And Cena obviously won, skinning it down. Sucked. Next we had Bayley versus Mandy Rose. Skinning it down as well. It sucked as well. First of all, the whole like Bayley and Sasha Banks versus either Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville is getting really boring. I hate it. Like we've had these matches so many times. I don't enjoy it. I never have. Stop it. And then it's of course also continuing this unwanted, in my opinion, thing with her Bayley and Sasha Banks. So Bayley wins with a roll up, which just to me is dumb. And then of course, as soon as the match is over, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville start beating up Bayley, just like always, just like every match always does. So Sasha came out and helped Bayley, and After the heels ran off, Sasha tried to hug Bayley. Bayley, for some reason, did not want to hug, even though she's the hugger. It's whatever. Um, and she walked away. I don't understand where this is going, and I want it to go away. Like, let's make room for something actually good instead of this, please. I'm just not a fan. Next up, we had things that were much better, though. We had Braun Strowman versus Elias. Now, we had this match the week before, and I gave that a down, if you'll remember. But this was much better because this was a Symphony of Destruction match. What is a Symphony of Destruction match, you might ask? I have no freaking clue. They never really explained it. It's basically, it seemed like a hardcore match. Well, it was a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's what it was. And then, but they made it seem as though the Symphony of Destruction match wasn't supposed to be Falls Count Anywhere. And then they later said it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere. So I have no idea. But there were a bunch of musical instruments up on the stage, which were, of course, used as weapons for Braun Strowman, which was great. Elias was good at the beginning because he tried to run away, which was, obviously he didn't want it. Like, it's good in a way, but then also in another way, it brings me back to like my dislike of last week's match where Elias apparently asked for the match with Braun Strowman. Why did you ask for the match with Braun Strowman the week before and you were cool with it, but this week you're not? I don't understand. So Elias tries to run away, so he gets in a car. It turns out Braun Strowman is holding the car to stop him from going, which is great. It's just the thing I love about this match. It's not like a match, and it's not like technically good or anything like that. It's just enjoyable as heck, just because it's so unserious and so comical, which is what works. So Braun chases him back into the arena, throws him onto the stage, and starts bashing him with guitar and bashing him with the bass again. Throws the piano down on him again, and then pins him quick, but really good, and it's just enjoyable as heck. So it's getting an up. Next up, we had a um, super short match, barely even a match, between Bray Wyatt and Rhino. I don't know why we needed to have this match, and I don't understand why we are continuously jobbing out people for no reason, especially to Bray Wyatt. Like, what's the heck with that? So Wyatt wins in like a minute, and that's getting it down. I'm not a fan. But then Bray Wyatt calls out Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy comes on the screen, and he announces to everyone that the Great War is not over, and they will have one final showdown, and it will be at the Hardy compound, and it will be the ultimate deletion, which is really cool. Hopefully, it's good. Remember what I just said about the Symphony of Destruction match, and the reason why it was good, in my opinion, is because it wasn't taking itself serious. That's what's good about those kind of matches, and that's what's good with these programs they're putting Braun in, is that Braun's not taking himself serious. We're not meant to take Braun serious. We're just meant to enjoy the destruction. It's great. That's what they need to do with this match, with Hardy versus Wyatt at the Hardy compound. Like, they didn't do good last year with the whole House of Horrors match. That was not good. You've got to embrace the fact that this is not serious. You've got to embrace the fact that it's going to be just silly, and that's what's going to make it great if they can capture that, and they try not to take it too seriously. But it is going to be the ultimate deletion, and so I'm giving it a tentative up now, hopeful, but worried still. And we had the Miz come out with the Miztourage, and he was mad about Seth and Finn, how they both basically had him in a 2-on-1 handicap match, and so he wanted them in a 3-on-2 handicap match with him and the Miztourage. So we have that match. Obviously, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins win. The ending was good to me because Finn Balor was going for the coup de grace. Seth tagged himself in and then went for the curb stomp and got the pin. I think this is good because it gives that tension between Finn and Seth. I don't know. It was good. The match itself was good. The Miz Taraj was in it, so it couldn't have been that great. But yeah, I think it did what it did, and I'm just hoping that over the weeks that we don't overexpose this feud because they have been, I think, having too many matches between these competitors. With the Gauntlet match, I think with like a week or two before that, I think they had Seth and Finn face each other, and then Elimination Chamber match, and then last week and this week, I think we need to let these three not let them have good promos, but don't put them in any more matches because we don't want to ruin everything for WrestleMania. But the matches is getting up. And to round out the show, we had Paul Heyman come out. Paul Heyman was excellent. I don't know if you've ever listened to Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman is quite a good talker, and it was really cool because everyone's because the storyline they're going with is that Brock doesn't care about the company, doesn't care about us, and only cares about money and stuff like that. And he's not a legitimate champion because he doesn't show up. And Paul did some really good arguments. He said stuff like, when Roman beat the Undertaker, no one was like, oh, well, Undertaker only wrestled one other time that year, so it didn't really count. And he was like, no one said that at all because the Undertaker, it's the freaking Undertaker. No one would dare say that because the Undertaker is the Undertaker 365 days a year. And the same is said for Brock Lesnar. He is Brock Lesnar 365 days a year, no matter how many times he shows up. And I thought that was really good. I thought it was really great. Paul's the best talker probably ever in the history of ever. And then Roman came out, and Roman wasn't as good as the week before, but it's still okay. And that was the. It was said that Brock would definitely be at Raw the next week though, and so Roman was like, "Good, so he better be ready to have a fight, not a promo segment." Which I don't think you're actually supposed to use the words promo segment, but whatever. So obviously this is getting it up mostly because of Paul, because Paul's just that awesome. But with that, that is the end of Monday Night Raw for this week, March 5th, 2018. If you did enjoy, I think my voice has been a bit better this video than the last. So hopefully you guys did enjoy uh, me better. If you did enjoy, hit that like button. Really appreciate it. If you have any opinions, whether different or the same as me, let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to hear them. And if you don't want to miss any of our content that we have on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single one. With that, though, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm Parker from Wall Echo, and I will see you all very, very soon. Peace.